there. Yeah, I have to let this beautiful ESP Eclipse go because of gas, I guess, because I'm constantly trading stuff. So unfortunately this one has to go, although it's an amazing guitar. So I wanted to say goodbye to it and just plugged it into an amp, and it happened to be the VH4. And I thought maybe I haven't done enough videos of that piece of an amp yet. So I was just jamming a little bit. It sounds amazing, and it's got this really unique tone, flavor, character to it that I just thought I'd show you really quick. Just a really quick like walk through all the 4 channels, and I'm just gonna tell you what I think about it, why I like it, and what's unique about it. So, well, obviously it's got like a load of functions. It's got channel inserts, which is like a series insert for each channel, and it's got loops, switchable, and parallel, and series, and everything really. So it's got a load of options that I don't really use often, to be honest, because in the studio I just press a button and I just use one sound, and then I press another button if I want to use another sound. But yeah, for you guys that are playing live, it's amazing because you got all those 4 channels and sounds like at your, well, not fingertips really, at your like feet, because you just, well, can put it on any like MIDI switcher or any channel switcher and just like program it essentially, all the loops and everything. So let's start with a clean tone, which is like, whenever it's about clean stuff, people compare it to Fender. This is not Fender really. It's clean. It's got loads of headroom. It's got a certain warmth to it, certain like mid-range. This is the gain set to about 11 o'clock. If you raise it further, it can break up a little bit. But first, let's just engage the bright switch to give it a bit more sparkle, which is nice for humbucker equipped guitars like this one. So, if you raise the gain, let's just max it out, right? You get like a little bit of crunch going on there. I gotta reduce the volume, sorry about that. That's with the gain max, so it really has loads of headroom, clean headroom. It does get really loud and it's still clean. So, and that's where channel 2 takes over, about that gain range. That's gain set to 930-ish. Again, let's engage the bright switch. And channel 2 has got lots of gain already. This would be gain around noon. Let's max it out. like heavy crunch distortion. In general, that amp sounds really warm. When I first actually played it, I was used to amps like, let's say the 5150, which has got a nice, really high-end presence sizzle. So you crank the presence or you raise it quite high and you got this really high sizzle. And first I was missing that from this amp because the Diezel is voiced fairly dark and the presence works in an entirely different way. And the 5150 presence, for example, is really high. So you can raise it a lot and just bring up the very high end. And with a VH4, the presence range, the center frequency is actually quite a bit lower. I'd say it's to about like 2.5 kilohertz. So by raising that, you raise all the treble and mid frequencies as well. So you can't really raise it that much. You can't raise it so high that you get that high-end sizzle you're used to when you're used to the 5150. Because else you would bring up all the mids and everything as well, and it sounds a bit weird then. So this amp has to be operated a bit differently, and it is a bit darker voiced, but that's not a bad thing at all. It's just very unique. The similar thing goes on with the Deep, which is not just like a shelf on the low end, but it's got like more like a peak to it. It's centered around, I don't know, I'd say between 90 and 100 hertz maybe. So it's got more like a bump in the low end, which is it's a nice range though, that frequency, because it's where the resonance frequencies of it starts interacting with the cab there, and that gives a nice tight oomph kind of sound. So let's go to channel 3, right? Because that's what everyone's loving about this amp. The odd thing about channel 3 is that I had to get used to it for a bit, to be honest, because it sounds like, I think it's got the same amount of gain stages as channel 2, but it's got loads more gain. So it kind of sounds like the tubes are almost not able to handle what's being pushed through them. So it compresses a lot. It's got a lot of like dense compressed mid-range, and it sounds like it's about to die, but it doesn't. So in a good way, it's very aggressive. This is the gain set to around 130. Let's just switch from channel 2 to channel 3. So you can see how it actually compresses more, the mid-range changes. This is channel 2. Raise the gain on channel 2 a bit. And channel 3. So this amp is very tight. It doesn't have like a boomy low end, so it's really tight, but it's still not like surgical clean when it comes to tracking of like fast thrashy palm beats. It's tight, so it doesn't boom, but it's got a little bit of a smear going on the low end. And that's very unique about it. So let's raise the gain even more to maximum. Let's see how much it does. Now you can kind of hear what I mean about the tubes being just able to handle it. That's just how I would describe it. I don't know what's really going on in there, but that's kind of what I feel it is. Like it's a small amount of gain stages that are being pushed really hard. Just this almost choking sound. Which makes it a bit less tight or fast tracking maybe. but it's got a nice squishiness to it, and that's very, very unique for this amp, I think. Reduce the gain a little bit again. So, and I've got, on this amp, I got the treble really high, usually at around 3 o'clock in this case. That is because I don't want to raise the, like I said earlier, the presence too much, because it doesn't give the sizzle I was expecting. It just gives more like a high mid boost. So I have the treble not too high, the presence not too high, but the treble a bit higher, in order to get the brightness. Yeah, it's very responsive to the way you pick. You have to hit hard and dig in to get the tight chink chink chink. But it always has that Diezel squish, the compressed mids that make it so unique sounding. So let's go to channel 4, which has loads of gain on tap, and on top of channel 3. Same settings for the EQ. This is the gain around 11 o'clock. It's kind of where we stopped earlier with channel 3. So let's go to like 1 o'clock. That's where like soloing range starts, I'd say. It sings, doesn't it? And the compression really helps to like carry those single note lines, especially in the higher register, where you get a lot of like grease to the tone, so it doesn't thin out on the higher strings, but it's like thick and stable. It's so great for metal rhythm as well. Let's go to like 3 o'clock on the gain here. Too much for rhythms for me. Back to like 12 o'clock. And to show you the presence and the depth, let's go back to channel 3. Here's what it sounds like now. So now raise the presence, so you hear what I mean by the presence not just attacking the very high frequencies, but the mids as well. So that's the presence maxed. So you don't get the sizzle, like the 5150 does for example, but it just shelves up all the high mids and highs as well. It's never fizzy. So back down a bit, and also the same with the depth knob. This is around noon. The cab now is a Diezel VH4 front-loaded mic with a single SM57 and biodynamic M160 ribbon mic. So down with the presence all the way down. Bit thin now, obviously, and I'm rising it all the way up. bit too much, but that shows you the range it has. Back to center position. So that concludes it, and that might be the last time I'm playing this beautiful guitar. So Christoph, have fun with it. Viel Spaß mit der Axt, die ist echt geil. And so long, take care guys.